Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we decode the mysteries behind company filings. Today we're looking at Grayscale Stellar Lumens Trust, and let's just say there is a bit of a corporate shuffle happening behind the scenes that could make your head spin. Before we dive in, if you like getting the real story behind these corporate announcements without the jargon, make sure you are subscribed. And hey, we have a fantastic community over on Discord, linked in the description below. It's a great place to chat with other finance enthusiasts and get your questions answered. So, what is going on with Grayscale Stellar Lumens Trust, or XLM as it is sometimes known? Well, it seems like the folks running this show have done a bit of an internal reorganization. Think of it like moving furniture around in a big house. But instead of furniture, it is company ownership. The main event here is a corporate reorganization that happened on the 22nd of October 2025. Now this might sound dry, but it actually changes who is calling the shots. Basically, there was a company called GSO Intermediate Holdings Corporation, GSOI for short, that used to have a lot of say in how Grayscale Investment Sponsors, or GSS, was run. GSIS is the company that acts as the sponsor for the Grayscale Stellar Lumens Trust. Now, GSY has basically transferred some of its ownership in a related company, a limited liability company called GSI, to a newly formed company called Grayscale Investments. This new company, Grayscale Investments, is now the one in charge, the sole managing member of GSO, which in turn is the sole owner of GSIS, our trust sponsor. So ownership has been restructured. And who is at the very top of this structure? It's a company called DCG Grayscale Holdco, LLC. All these different companies, GSY, GSO, the new Grayscale Investments, and GSIs, are all part of a bigger group called Digital Currency Group, Inc. So it is like a family tree, and a new branch has taken over the management duties. What does this mean for the trust itself? The company filing this report, Grayscale Investment Sponsors LLC, is the one acting as a sponsor. We're told that this reorganization should not have any major effect on how the trust actually operates. This is important because investors care about stability. They are saying that operations will continue as usual, which is good to hear. The report itself is signed on the 24th of October, 2025, just a few days after the reorganization took place, and it is signed by Edward McGee, who is the Chief Financial Officer. It is important to note that he is signing in his role as an officer of the sponsor company, Grayscale Investment Sponsors, LLC, not directly as an officer of the trust itself. This is a common practice when a trust is managed by a separate sponsor entity. Now, you might be wondering about the actual trust performance or these kind of details. This particular filing, an 8K, is typically for significant events. In this case, the significant event was the change in how the sponsor is managed. It doesn't contain the detailed financial tables that you might find in a quarterly or annual report, like a 10Q or 10. Okay, those reports would show you the nitty-gritty numbers related to the trust's assets, liabilities, and performance. This 8K is more about the corporate structure and governance changes. Looking at Grayscale Stellar Lumens Trust, they are registered and trade under the ticker symbol GXLM. It is important to remember that these types of trusts hold underlying assets, in this case, Stellar Lumens, and their performance is directly tied to the value of those digital assets. The reorganization we've discussed doesn't directly change how Stellar Lumens are performing, but it does change the management structure of the entity that oversees the trust. This kind of corporate structuring can sometimes be a precursor to bigger changes, or simply an attempt to streamline operations and reporting. In this instance, it appears the goal was to consolidate management under a new entity, Grayscale Investments, which is now the ultimate manager of the trust sponsor. The key takeaway from this filing is that a restructuring has occurred at the management level of the trust sponsor, but the impact on the trust's day-to-day operations is expected to be none. So, what is my take on this? On one hand, corporate reorganizations can be a sign of a company proactively managing its structure for efficiency or future growth. It is a deliberate move, and the fact that they are informing the public through an 8K shows transparency. However, without the detailed financial performance data, it is hard to gauge the real impact on the trust value or how well it's performing against its underlying asset. The main risk here is if such reorganizations are a way to obscure underlying issues, or if they lead to confusion among investors about who is ultimately in charge. But based on this filing alone, they are stating operations are unaffected. The opportunity, though, is that a well-structured management team can lead to better operational oversight and potentially better performance for the trust's holdings in the long run. It is always a good sign when companies are organized and have clear leadership, even if the layers of that leadership are complex. In conclusion, Grayscale Stellar Lumens Trust has undergone a management structure change where Grayscale Investments is now overseeing the sponsor. While this might sound complex, the company assures us it won't affect the trust's operations. We're keeping an eye on how this new management structure plays out for the trust and its underlying stellar lumens. What are your thoughts on these corporate shifts? Do you think these kinds of reorganizations are usually a good or bad sign? Let us know in the comments below. If you found this breakdown helpful, please hit that like button and subscribe for more corporate insights. And don't forget to join our Discord community linked in the description where we dive even deeper. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next Decode.